So, welcome to our Yin Yoga class today. My name's Fern. I'm going to be practicing with you and sharing with Magda a heart-based, heart meridian line practice to connect deeper with yourself, with your heart line, as well as your heart chakra, going through some long-held yin postures, as well as using more of a fascia type practice, using some myofascial release techniques and balls.
And we'll also use some very gentle somatic practices, gentle breathing, gentle release, also using the singing bowl and whatever props you have available at home. If you don't have these, that's okay. Maybe you have some tennis balls lying around. Or also you can have a rolled up towel instead. If you have any pillows, any cushions, or a couple of books as well instead of the block, it's going to be handy.
You can get creative.
And you don't need a mat necessarily. You can practice on a towel or on a carpet as well.
The idea is to be comfortable and to be with yourself. So
yes. Let's start with 3 ohms. Bring your awareness to your body, your physical body. Take a couple of deep breaths. And noticing your heart space. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat. Checking in with the breath as well. How does it flow through your body today? And allowing the heart space to open up with every inhale and soften with every exhale. And Yin is very much about the release, the letting go. So we bring more focus, more attention to the exhale. Take a deep breath in to chant. Maybe you'd like to bring your palms together in front of your heart and bow down to the heart space, opening yourself up to its wisdom, its guidance. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start with just some gentle openings. Find yourself on your mat before we take our first long hold. You can stay on your seat or sit on your knees if it's more comfortable, but you're just going to open your arms out wide for a moment and really thinking about how the heart meridian is this line all the way from the heart and it ends in this little finger. It's that long line. So we're going to inhale and open the arms and the chest outwards. And as you exhale, draw it down and round, spiraling the arms in. Yeah. Inhale, begin to open gently outwards, slowly with the breath. Looking all the way up. And exhale, drawing it around. And a little hug. Inhale, opening all the way, expanding through chest. And exhaling, drawing it around. few more times, closing the eyes, really just experiencing the breath and the movement. Inhaling to open and exhaling, closing it down. Once more. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. Gonna hold it there for a moment, just hugging yourself. Gently open the arms out and just change the cross of the hug. Just experiencing the other way of holding yourself. Good, and then gently releasing. Slowly taking the hands down and just taking any movement you might need here, any gentle rounding in the body. Remembering with the long holds, we're going to be in stillness. So we just want to find a little bit of space for some energy to start to flow. Essentially, that's what the practice is about, to unblock any stuck chi, emotions, whatever it is. Good. So slowly from here, we're just going to start to find our way onto our mat. Coming to lie down on your front. And we're going to start with a Sphinx pose today. So taking your Sphinx and just holding it here for a few moments. We start. And all we're going to do is begin to breathe. Remember, the practice here is there is no goal. We're simply being with the body and allowing ourselves to surrender. That's part of this practice. You can see where the heart is open and just holding ourselves. And the options here, as Magda's shown, is to have this bolster. So make yourself comfortable to settle in. Listening to the sound of the breath. Noticing where the mind might take us and gently bringing ourselves back really to the sensations that are occurring in the body. Just staying still, staying with the breath. With our Yin practice, we really observe the art of slowing down. If the mind feels like it's desperate to jump to the next asana or move around to the next thought, part of the practice is to notice that and to enjoy the opportunity to watch it and allow it to start to slow. So from here, start to take it to our next moment. We're going to use the balls here. So I'm going to take one of the balls and I'll show this Fern Magda. And we're going to be placing the ball into our sternum, into what is our thoracic band of our chakra, our heart chakra, anahata. So we're placing it between the breastbone, essentially. So you might want to feel that part of your body before we move into it, and just to feel the sensation of how it is to press into that bone. Connect to that space. Perhaps you can even feel your heart beat there. This can be quite a tight space. It might be the first time maybe you've really placed pressure onto this. So we go slow. We're going to take the ball and place that there, and very nice and slowly begin to allow your body to settle. So you can start with the Sphinx, and in your time, you can begin to ease down, but staying with whichever point feels okay for you to be with it. Remembering this is going to be a few minutes here. So there are options, of course, to take a block under the head. If it's too much here with the ball directly on this bone, you might have a blanket underneath or a blanket over the top. Otherwise, we're going to stay here, and at any point you need to ease off, ease off. But again, this practice is about finding almost a comfort within the discomfort, that thing we talk about with the edge, finding a space where we can ease in deeper to hopefully unlock something that might be really deeply held. So breathing into that space and just settling. And we know that the heart chakra is the space that we love from. It's the way we give and receive love. It's the space that when it's imbalanced, it might mean that we're closed off, that what's held there might be the tears that we've not allowed ourselves to cry, the sensation of grief that we may not have allowed ourselves to go through. It's a deep place, a deep-seated space of emotions. And when we talk about the heart meridian, it's the space where they refer to it in TCM as the house of the spirit, the housing of our emotions. So if you're here and it feels okay, maybe you'll allow yourself to go sink a little deeper. Notice if the body's holding onto anything in the glutes, the ankles, the thighs, the arms. Maybe we can go deeper. Maybe it's enough you stay where you are, or you ease off and go to Sphinx. Otherwise, staying with the breath, just noticing anything that arises. Taking a few more moments here. It's tight space in that thoracic band. The idea with the fascia is when we put this point of pressure there, we can heat, hydrate, and start to release. This might be enough here for that ball in that space. So nice and slowly, coming back to breath and body, gently begin to ease off and just take your time to come out of it. Move the ball to one side and just allow yourself to lie down on your front, noticing how it is now to be without that space and the pressure. Fully breathing into the chest and the belly. Like Magda said, really tapping into that parasympathetic by allowing the exhale to be even longer than the inhale. Yeah, we're going to just go gently to a closed like child's pose, a balasana. Again, just taking your time just for a couple of minutes to really rebound from this potentially quite intense space. And again, a child's pose that's comfortable for you. If it feels too far for your head and it feels good to have a block or a bolster underneath. This time is about being in comfort, softness, nourishment. Remembering that heart center. It's not just about the way that we give love, it's about how we give love to ourselves. So notice the compassionate side that we can bring to our yin practice. Okay. Taking another few breaths here, just allowing yourself to settle from one moment to the next, acknowledging that the times in between are just as important. Slowly, you're going to begin to ease off and come back into lying on your front. And we'll come into the next part. We're going to take our open or broken wing or open wing, whichever you wish to call it. We're going to start with our left arm, or right arm, sorry, opening nice and wide. And with that left hand then underneath, you're going to begin to press yourself open onto that side, opening that left leg and hip. And really settling into this space. So the options here might be to allow that top arm, the front arm, to reach over and behind. It might be happy to stay where it is. If it feels good, you might play around with where this right arm is, whether it's up higher or lower. Have a little moment to experience, but really here we are directly opening that heart meridian line. Like I said at the beginning, we're thinking about where the heart line goes from the heart, the diaphragm, the lung, the small intestine, which is its pair organ, and all the way down the arm to the outside, to that little finger. And so here you can see that line's directly beginning to be activated, that channel we're tapping into. I'm going to stay here again for a few more moments, a few more minutes. Be comfortable. The legs feel better as they are. The knees together, the bolster between knees, whatever. We like to settle, we like to stay still, so find the pose and then begin to ease. Notice at times where we really lean into stillness and silence, that it can become challenging. You're finding in the moments of silence that there is discomfort. Again, that's where you become your inner witness, your inner observer. And instead of judging yourself, welcome the sense of compassion and welcome a new sensation, a new way of being with yourself in quiet. And of course, the idea of compassion is the essence of the heart center. Taking another few moments on this side, either opening a little wider or staying as you are, or easing off. Again, watching the physical sensations as well as that mind, or anything that's really becoming clear from the heart center. And now when you're ready, beginning to slowly ease off, bringing your hand back from the back space, slowly coming on to your front. And take your time here. Take a moment just lying here, allowing your cheek to turn to one side. Notice which, so that you know for the next time to come to the other. And again, just watching that space of the in-between the poses. The power of the time to integrate. Listening to the breath. Listening to the sound of the heartbeat. And as always in our practicing, noticing any sensations or any senses, whether it's sounds around you, scents, smells, whatever it might be that takes us away, using it as a tool to observe and then bring ourselves back. And we take ourselves to the other side now. Nice and gently extending now that left arm. Pressing the right hand under the right shoulder and turning onto that side. Remembering here, if your head feels like it's far from the ground, and your neck's uncomfortable, you can always bring a block underneath. One side is always different to the other, so notice it's okay. Yes. allowing yourself to find that space. And once again, easing in, knowing that it's your choice how far you take yourself, but with the practice of yin, we're bringing in this yin sensitivity. So if you notice yourself pushing, take yourself into a space of not pushing, but instead guiding yourself with intuition. Where is going to be opening and where is going to be too much? And only you can know. Only your body knows. And whatever arises in this practice, in a physical sense, on an emotional layer, it's not for us to necessarily to dissect, but instead to allow for it to be. Allow for yourself to let it go, because that's where it's meant to be. We know many stories of our heart center, but now's the time to soften with it and let go of perhaps the barriers that we've built. We'll take a couple more minutes on the side. Again, observing that line from the finger all the way to the heart center, diaphragm. Conscious or unconscious of energy moving, it doesn't matter. The more we step into the practice, the more we begin to unearth the levels of the self that we know, the more we notice our vibration, our energy, our frequency. It's a practice with time. Nice and gently now, coming back, if your mind's wandered, to your breath, to the places of your body that are connected on the mat, to the feeling in the heart center where we're focusing. And beginning to, nice and slowly, ease out of the posture. Moving the block and coming back into your front, and again allowing now for yourself into that rebound space, that space in between, turning the cheek to the side that you were opposite to last time. Noticing the breath moving through the body. And again, any sensations of where you've just moved from. So that shoulder, that long line from the finger up the arm. Also where we moved in the hips, that space where we often have a lot of tightness. So we're going to come now to almost like a direct counter. It's half bow tie. So nice and gently, you can bring your hands under your shoulders. If it feels good to take a little cobra or sphinx for a moment, just do what feels happy in the body, perhaps a gentle movement. The neck, yeah, where we've just really held that space, just softening. And then we're going to gently thread now the right arm underneath the body, underneath the left arm. And you can play around here where it feels good. If it feels happy to have a hand under the forehead, if it feels happy to have the arm extending. Otherwise, we're just going to stay with this arm threaded and again be here for another few minutes. So sometimes we experience this pose with both arms at one time, but we're going to do one. It can feel a lot actually. So notice, we know from our daily living, our lives, that shoulders are a space of a lot of tension. So here's the chance to release, relieve yourself, alleviate. And again, connecting directly to that meridian line. Slowly unblocking wherever there might be points or blockages. Talk about the acupoints, the spaces that slowly become blocked. And when we're bringing our practice to these spaces, is the opportunity to release. As always, wherever the mind might wander, we acknowledge the thought, accept the thought, again with that compassionate voice, and then we release it and come to the new moment, the moment that is now. No expectation of what might be happening, but instead a surrendering of whatever it is. Take another few breaths on this side. And bring, your breath can be as free as it needs to be. If there's sighs that feel good, allow yourself. There's no judgment. There's no right, there's no wrong. And nice and gently beginning to bring that left hand back. And slowly use it to lift yourself up slightly and move that right hand. And again, just take a moment in the center. It feels good with that shoulder, maybe a little cobra. Maybe the hands on the wide edges of the mat can do some gentle cobras or arms. And then settling, just for a second. And then from here, we go to the other side, extending or reaching now the left arm underneath. Again, settling. Maybe one side is different to the other, having a hand under, having a hand over, reaching. Just staying with the posture. Again, finding that line, that full extension from the finger under and along to that heart center. And the other arm fully extended or settled at a bend. And trusting that your body knows how far to go with this practice, that the edge that we refer to is innate. It's a sense of intuition and consciousness that you're cultivating. And again, we start to observe the silence and the stillness from the practice. Again, just a few more moments here. Sinking deeper with the breath. Inhaling is the opportunity to bring yourself love, peace, nourishment, compassion. Exhaling is the opportunity to release, to let go, to sink that little bit deeper. So from here, when you're ready, begin to gently guide that hand that extends, that right hand gently in. Use the hand to press yourself up and unravel and tie that bow tie hand. And again, wherever feels good to move. The neck, the shoulders, the arms. Slowly now, from here, we're going to take ourselves into a Balasana again, a child's pose. For a gentle transition. And then slowly uncurl to a seat. And we're going to find our way onto our backs now. So you're going to need the balls again. You're going to take 2 balls, and I can show on Magda where the balls are going to be. Again, using the back line of the body now, the heart center, back, the thoracic, into the space between your shoulder blades. So 2 balls just sitting in between. So you're going to lie back onto them. So if you lie, and then it's easier to put them under. So lie with your knees bent, take your time, and then we can slowly pop them under. So if you'd like to take a ball. So again, take your time to settle onto them. If you need to put something underneath or put some blankets on top of them, it can feel like a big space. And have a little roll around, yeah. And again, maybe it's not naturally so comfortable, but we can find a space to be with it. So we're gonna hold it here, and we're gonna start off with a little bit of movement before we totally still. So I'm gonna welcome you to bring your knees in towards your chest. And you can start with the feet flat, or you can then begin to guide them up. If that feels too much, stay with the feet on the ground. Just having a little play and maybe drawing them in, or perhaps taking them with little windscreen wiper type motions, just side to side. You're experiencing the back line of the fascia. And again, just using that little technique of some movement to maybe go a little deeper. Then thinking, keeping those feet now on the ground, of our arms, our hands is the extension of our heart. So you can slowly begin to reach the arms over the head. And just see how it is, maybe to even bring the elbows towards a cactus, and just like we did at the beginning, just gently draw them up and over a little bit, moving them. Yeah, exactly. So coming around, maybe start being in stillness, holding, hugging, and just staying with this position, staying with the breath, and really letting the body weight lie onto the balls. As always, like we said, if it's too much with the balls, you can always take them away and put a block here. You can always put less intense type of balls. The tennis balls can be better, softer. Or you can put blankets over them or under them. Lots of options. When you're ready, you can be in stillness here. Maybe those legs feel good to extend fully flat. Maybe they're happy to stay bent. And the arms in a position wherever feels comfortable. We know that the back space, where the back of the heart, often when we start to close ourselves off, if we've been hurt, maybe we start to shrink in our shell, we start to concave in our body. And so this is the space where we're opening, where we're freeing, we're coming back into a space of trust and love. Again, maybe we know that we've closed ourselves, maybe we don't. Either way, we're guiding ourselves to a space of openness, guiding ourselves to a space where we can live from heart center. So when you're ready, we're gonna just take a full breath here in through the nose. I invite you to open the mouth and exhale, really sinking a tiny bit deeper into the space that you're being held, that you're safely being held. And really, really noticing the points of pressure, the points of heating, of opening. And when you're ready, beginning to just gently come off of the balls, moving them softly to one side. So you can bend the knees, gently lift up, and then just allow yourself to lie back onto the mat. Experiencing a full flat back on the mat, that space now that's been opening to settle energetically, physically. Okay. So moving to the next part of the practice. Magda takes over.
Take a few more deep breaths here. This time of rebound, of stillness, of coming back to a neutral position, coming back to that blank slate. This sense of spaciousness and openness and presence in the moment. And in your own time, slowly, you can roll yourself onto one side of the body, just curling up into a small ball, into an embryo pose or a fetal position. So after experiencing such openness with the support of the balls, really opening up through the heart space, just take a moment to feel the difference when you allow yourself to come inward and to come into your own safety of your own body and allow that movement of closing in, just to find that safety within yourself and your own heart. Knowing that not only are we constantly able to witness how our body is communicating with us and what your heart is here to tell you today, but also knowing that our heart and our body is always actively listening So if there's anything that you wish to say to your heart right now, anything that your heart feels like it needs to hear and embrace right now, give it to yourself, say it to yourself. So often we might wait for others to fill that gap, to say the things that we've been waiting to hear. Today, I invite you to really say it to yourself, to give it to yourself. And holding yourself with kindness, with compassion to whatever might be arising, coming up, any sensations or emotions, seeing them, acknowledging them, embracing them with acceptance. And you might want to stay just as you are in stillness, or you might want to explore a very gentle rocking motion with your hips, just forwards and back. And let your feet relax fully and find just a nice rhythm for yourself, almost like this wave-like motion of allowing ourselves just to rock ourselves into safety, into this very gentle movement. You might want to experiment with the speed or just seeing and feeling what feels good and right in the body. What kind of momentum does it want to have? Does it want to be small and gentle? Does it want to be quite a large rocking motion? There's no right or wrong here. Just feel into whatever comes naturally. And then allow yourself to sink back into stillness. And observe the gentle echo of the movement still present in the body, rippling out through you. For a reclined butterfly, you can slowly roll back onto the mat. And you can bring your feet together and open your knees out to the sides. Find the right place for your feet. Maybe you want to bring them closer or further away to the body. You might also want to use the blocks or the bolster underneath your knees. And find the right place for your hands to rest. They might want to rest on your body. And tuning in with the heart. And tuning into that conversation. that is always happening, our heart always communicating with us. We know that our heart sends even up to 5 times more messages to the brain than the brain to the heart. So this center of our communication is from the heart space, from our openness to feel, to give and receive love, to share openly our emotions, our truth. And checking in what is true for you in your heart right now. And since our heart is listening, our body is listening, you may want to ask yourself a question. How can I honor my heart today? How can I serve my heart today? How can I embrace my heart more fully today? And without any expectations of an answer, also knowing that our heart communicates in slightly different ways to the mind. Maybe it's just a feeling, maybe it's a memory, maybe it's a song, maybe it's just something moving, shifting. Just be open to receive whatever is coming through with kindness, with softness, with acceptance. And with gratitude. Giving thanks for everything we get to experience in this life, for the full spectrum of our emotions, embracing ourselves exactly as we are right here, right now. And we're going to take a couple more deep breaths together. You might want to breathe in through the nose and let it out through the mouth with a sound or a sigh. Softening the heart. A few more. Letting the breath just melt away any tension, whether physical or emotional. Slowly, you might want to bring your knees back in. You can use your hands to help you with it. Maybe sway your knees a couple of times, side to side. And then bring yourself over onto the other side of the body for embryo pose. So whichever side you were on before, coming onto the opposite side. If you want to use a pillow under your head or hug it like a giant teddy bear, putting it in between your knees. You're more than welcome. Make yourself feel comfortable. And just feel into the difference. What did it feel like to be so open, open hips and open heart, fully breathing into that space? And now how does it feel to allow ourselves to come in to our inner safety, to that space in your own heart, in your center, where you're always loved, you're always cared for, you're always heard. And you might want to stay here just as you are, or you might want to bring in those gentle rocking, swaying motions of the hips forwards and back, almost like you're on a rocking chair and you're just bringing these gentle movements into your body, feeling this ripple. You might want to experiment with the speed or with the intensity, just playing around, checking in what feels right, what feels true for you today. And then sink back into stillness whenever you're ready. We'll move into a supine twist. So very slowly, you can bring yourself back onto the center of the mat. If there are any gentle motions and movements that feel needed right now, maybe you want to hug your knees for a moment and take a few circles with your knees. Maybe you want to sway your head side to side. Another deep breath here. And slowly we'll move into a supine twist with a broken wing as well. So just an interesting variation to try out. That also brings us into the heart meridian. Slowly you can bend both of your knees. And bring your right hand underneath your lower back. So you might want to, lift your hips up, and you can either bring just the palm in or shuffle the arm further in. Find the right level of intensity here. And slowly you can bring your knees over to the same side, so over to the right side. And maybe your knees want to rest on a cushion or on a block. Maybe you'd like an extra cushion underneath or in between your knees. And find a comfortable place for the other arm to rest in as well. Maybe you want it to be extended out or above your head. Take a moment just to notice and acknowledge everything that can be sensed in this posture. And as in Yin, we focus more on the fascia, on the deeper connective tissues. We want our muscle tissue to soften and relax. And notice any areas within the body that can benefit just maybe from a deep breath and allowing that area to melt away, any unnecessary tension with the exhale. Yoga affects us not only physically, but also emotionally and mentally and energetically as well. So any movements and shifts and changes that you can perceive and observe, allow them to be there. We're not trying to change or fix anything. We're letting go of the need to control, and we're just allowing ourselves to be in that space of allowing, accepting, and embracing everything that is. And these are the 3 steps of acceptance. At first, we allow. We allow whatever is there just to exist. We let go of resistance towards it. We let go of the need to change it. And the second stage is acceptance. That's when we move deeper into not just allowing whatever exists to exist, but to actually see it as already whole and enough, just the way it is, and accept it exactly the way it is. And the third stage of acceptance is embrace. That's when we let go of duality completely and we allow to embrace and bring it into wholeness. Whatever is present is welcome and is always a part of us. And take your last few deep breaths here. Letting go with the exhale of anything that happened here in this pose. And slowly bringing yourself back into rebound. Removing your arm from underneath and taking out all the props, whatever gentle stretches your body might need here. Feel free just to allow your body to notice the effects of the twist and find your rebound Take a moment in a neutral position in stillness. For the other side of the twist, bend both of your knees. This time, left arm goes underneath lower back, just in that curve gap, either just the palm or if you want to go a little bit further in, finding the right intensity for you, and then allowing the knees to come over to the side as well, making yourself feel comfortable with any props that you have. And one side might need a slightly different support, so allow yourself that recognition of whatever you might need here. And softening into the breath, allowing every exhale to melt away any physical tension that you might be holding on to. Being curious of the sensations. How does it feel to be here? Yin really invites us to come back to the physical body. The yin is this physical vessel. And our body, our physical body, has this incredible ability to bring us into the present moment. In our emotions, in our emotional body, and in our mental and energy body, we get to travel. We get to travel through time and space, in our memories and in our feelings and in our projections. We get to go into different realms. Yet this physical body always stays rooted in the present moment. So whenever you feel yourself wandering off, bring yourself back to the breath. Bring yourself back to your physical body, knowing that it always will bring you back to here and now. And whenever any thoughts or emotions or memories or just sounds and distractions come up, you can invite the 3 steps of acceptance to help you embrace everything that is present, starting with allowance, through acceptance, and into full embrace. Few more deep breaths here. Acknowledging everything that's come through with acceptance, and slowly coming out of the pose in your own time, gently And take your rebound, find a neutral place to rest in for a moment, to notice the echo, the movement that is still present within us. For cradle, you might want to use a soft cushion underneath your hips. Bend both of your knees and lift your hips up. Find the right place for your hips to rest on. And then hug your knees in towards your chest. You can either wrap your arms around your knees or hold on to your knees separately. You can also hold underneath your knees and allowing your shoulders to soften, just using the weight of your arms to hold the legs. Long back of the neck, soft face. And once more, allowing ourselves to hug ourselves in. Today we are deeply connecting with our heart chakra, but also the heart meridian. And also our fight and flight response, our nervous system response, which is this opening when we feel safe. Our heart naturally feels more open and welcoming to the environment. And whenever we feel under pressure and under stress or in danger, our body automatically covers the most precious, most valuable, soft parts of us, our internal organs. So we naturally bring ourselves inward. And of course, we want to have this beautiful openness as we walk through life. But we also want to remember the wisdom of our heart and the wisdom of our body, and that whenever it needs to come inward and protect itself, it's also just as needed and as valuable. And we want to listen to that voice and to that wisdom and intelligence of the body telling us, hey, come in, hold yourself in. Few more deep breaths here, feeling the belly and the lower back just expanding with every inhale and softening and melting with every exhale. Maybe you'd like to sway your knees a couple of times side to side, gently massaging your lower back. And when you're ready, you can slowly come out of the pose, remove the cushion from underneath you, And find a moment in rebound. For our last posture of the day, we'll go into banana pose. For banana, we bring the arms up and over the head. And then you can bring your shoulders and your arms over to the right side of the body. Good. You can even hold on to the left palm with your right hand and gently pulling and opening the side of the body. You can also bring your legs over to the right. Your left foot can come on top of the right if you want to. And we want to just keep both of our hips grounded. Good. So we're really opening through the whole side of the body. And then notice if you're holding on to any tension, even your fingers, your wrists can soften. Your feet, your knees are relaxed. If you use singing bowls in your practice, this is a beautiful time to even place a singing bowl on your sternum. And once in a while you can play it. I'm going to do it for Fern here. Staying present with the heart space, with any guidance that it might have for us today. And inviting gratitude for this body, gratitude for every heartbeat, every breath. What else are you grateful for today? Bring it all into your heart, allowing it to live there. Another deep breath here. And slowly you can come back to the center. Align through the spine. Notice the difference in your body. Notice the right and the left side. How does it feel? What happened? What's new? Just be curious. For the other side of banana pose, bring your arms up and over the head and over to the left side. And your legs come over to the left as well, so we're bending into a banana or like a half moon shape. And one side might need slightly different support. Maybe your arms feel like they're a little bit hanging mid-air, so maybe there's a cushion needed. And finding the right place for your head so that your neck feels relaxed and supported. slow, deep, steady breaths, enjoying every inhale and softening into the mat with every exhale. Every exhale an opportunity to release and let go any pent up physical, emotional, or mental tension. And an exhale naturally, automatically does that for us. Every exhale naturally releases old energy from the body. Every inhale brings fresh energy into the body. Every exhale releases what's old. But we can bring our focus, our awareness, our intention into it just to almost supercharge it. So whatever it is that you're letting go of right now, allow the exhale to do the work for you, to melt it all away. And coming back to the gratitude, back to embracing and loving yourself fully, unapologetically, listening to your heart, listening to your body, honoring it daily. How can I love myself more today? How can I embrace myself more today? And slowly, in your own time, you can come back to the center for our final Shavasana. Maybe you'd like a cushion under your knees or underneath your head. Maybe you'd like to lie down on the side of the body or on the front as well. Allow your body to soften into stillness. You might want to stay here as long as you like. It's been a pleasure to connect deep into the heart with you today.